Okay, this question is a forces diagram question. The first part, parachute of mass 80 kilograms is attached to a canopy by two lines, each of a tension T. Parachute is crawling with a constant velocity and experience of resistance to its motion due to air resistance equal to a quarter of her weight. Show that the tension in each line T is 20 root 3 G. So let's draw the forces that are acting on this person. So we model them as a particle. They've got 80 G going down. So the first few ones, the tension, going to be the same as the diagram. So each of the tension T is going to be the same. But there's one thing that's not mentioned in the diagram, and that's the resistance to motion due to air resistance. So we assume that the object is falling downwards. So we then assume that the motion due to air resistance, that is going to go upwards, and it's a quarter of her weight. So a quarter of 80 is equal to 20G. So that's our model set up, and obviously we've got our angles here. So we've got 60 degrees and 60 degrees. And then it's falling with a constant velocity, therefore it's balanced. Essentially the forces are balanced, so up equals down and right equals left. So from here, so the upwards force that is occurring in this one, there are three upward forces here. The first upwards force is the 20G. So if we look at upwards forces, so it's from the 20G that's acting upwards. We also have the upwards component of the tension, because that is acting in an up, but obviously to the side direction. So for this one, the upwards force is going to be T sine 60, and here it's going to be T sine 60 as its opposite, and the tension is the hypotenuse. So it's going to be plus 2 T sine 60 as you add them together. And going down is going to equal 80G. And from here, there is only one unknown in this question, which is the tension. So we can solve directly from here. So we could say that 80G is equal to 20G plus 2T sine 60. We can subtract 20G from each side, so we get 60G is equal to 2T sine 60, and then divide by 2 to get 30G equals T sine 60, and then we could do 30G divided by sine 60 is equal to T. So again, checking what our answer is, so we want 20 root 3, so it's going to be 30 divided by sine 60 is equal to 20 root 3 directly on the calculator, so we get 20 root 3G is equal to T. And that is our answer. So therefore we find what the tension is. So the key thing here is to remember that the upwards force included the air resistance as well. The next question, question 9, a system of forces acts upon a particle as shown in the diagram. The resultant force on the particle is 2 root 3I plus 2J. Calculate the magnitudes of force F1 and F2. So here we're going to draw a upwards arrow to represent the first one, which is 12 newtons. We've got F1 acting to the right and F2 going downwards at an angle of 30 degrees. So here it tells us that the vertical force, so the vertical component must equal 2 root 3, as we assume, no, sorry, my mistake, it's going to equal 2. Because we have I, which is in this direction, J going in this direction. So I must be upwards of 2, and upwards force must be, the overall vertical force must be an upwards force of 2, and the horizontal force must be a horizontal force of 2 root 3. So from here we can build up our formula. So we know that it's not, there's a resultant force on the particle. So if there's a resultant force on the particle, we can't say that the up and down equal each other, but we know that the upwards force minus the downwards force is equal to 2, because we're going to take upwards as positive, so the resultant upwards force is 2. And the upwards force in this situation is 12. The downwards force is going to be the vertical component of F2, which is F2 sine 30. And then we can do the horizontal component as well, so going to the right is F1, and going to the left is F2 cos 30. So from here we know that up minus down is equal to 2, and we know that right minus left is equal to 2 root 3 because it's got the final resultant is a positive direction to the right. So the upwards force is 12, so we put 12 minus F2 sine 30 is equal to 2. And then from here we rearrange, so we swap the F2 sine 30 into 2 over, so 12 minus 2 is 10, is equal to F2 sine 30, and then F2 divided by sine 30, 10 divided by sine 30 is going to equal 20, so F2 is equal to 20 newtons. And then for the second equation, we've got F1 minus F2 cos 30 is equal to 2 root 3. But we already know that F2 is 20, as we've just found that, so it's F1 minus 20 cos 30 is equal to 2 root 3. So F1 is equal to 2 root 3 plus 20 cos 30. So 2 root 3 plus 20 cos 30 gives an answer of 12 root 3. So F1 is equal to 12 root 3. And that is everything the question asked for. Calculate the magnitude. Yes, so calculate the magnitude, so that's our magnitude of our force. And that is the end of the questions. If you have any further questions, please let me know.